guys, what's going on? It's MJ's Raw Review, and I'm coming to you from mjfitness.au. Awesome Raw Review for the viewers at home today on an all-new high-calorie mass gainer protein from our good friends at Rule 1 Proteins. It is, of course, Rule 1 R1 Mass Gainer in the house. Let's get straight into it, show you guys exactly what's in it, tell you exactly what it's gonna do. The bag's taking up most of the frame. I can't turn it around to show you guys the panel. It doesn't matter because we got a big ass nutritional information panel appearing on screen. We about to go deep in this here Rule 1 R1 Mass Gainer protein. Starting from the top, got ourselves 2 heaping scoops, 325 grams. Woo! You can tell straight off the bat that it's a high calorie mass gainer protein. We got ourselves about 16 of those 2 heaping scoop 325 gram serves in each one of these big bags of the Rule 1 R1 Mass Gainer. In terms of what each 2 heaping scoop full serve is made up of, apart from the 325 grams, we're talking about 1,260 calories per serve, broken down into fat about 8 grams, which is 2.5% by weight, of which 4 grams is saturated, 1.25%. 254 grams of carbohydrates by weight, so about 78% carbohydrates, of which 14 grams is sugar, which is about 4.3% sugar, and 40 grams of protein, which is about 12.3% by weight. This is all for the chocolate flavor. The macros vary ever so slightly across the 5 flavors. We'll get through those in a second. But on the chocolate flavor, that's where we're coming down to. So let's call it 80% carbs, about 12% protein, about 3% fat. It is a high calorie, carbohydrate based gainer with some protein and some fats in there as well. In terms of where these macros are coming from, we have a couple of blends going on in this R1 Mass Gainer, guys. The first one, of course, being 80% carbohydrates by weight, is going to be the carbohydrate blend. And we've got a blend of 3 different types of carbohydrates in here. We've got maltodextrin, we've got organic rice bran, and then we've got Carb 10, which is the registered trademarked version of pea starch. So 3 different types of carbohydrates. They are all complex carbohydrates, which is why the total amount of carbohydrates is quite high and the total amount of sugar is quite low, especially as a percentage of the total carbs. That's our carbohydrate blend. Then of course we have a protein blend as well, that's yielding the 40 grams of protein per serve. This is a blend of whey protein concentrate, whey protein isolate, and whey protein hydrolysate, which is a similar blend to what Rule 1 use in their R1 whey blend. So that's where the protein's coming from. We actually don't have a source of fat, so the fat is naturally occurring. There's gonna be a little bit in the carbohydrate blend, there's gonna be a little bit in the protein blend as well, but there's no added source of fats in the R1 Mass Gainer. We then, of course, have natural and artificial flavors. We have an emulsifier in here, lecithin. We have guar gum as the thickener. We have some sweeteners, 3 sweeteners as a matter of fact, 2 of them artificial, 1 of them natural. Sucralose, Ace K are your artificial sweeteners, and then we have stevia leaf as your natural sweetener in here as well. And to top it all off, we have a gram of creatine monohydrate in each and every serve of the Rule 1 R1 Mass Gainer. And that's what we're dealing with here. So high calorie, high carbohydrate, carbs are coming from 3 sources, protein's coming from 3 sources, added creatine monohydrate. It's a very solid looking mass gainer formula. In terms of how it tastes and how it mixes, it comes in 5 flavors. Comes in chocolate fudge, chocolate peanut butter, cookies and cream, strawberries and cream, and vanilla cream. Infamous MJ Fitness taste and mixability test about to go down. We got ourselves an MJ shaker with 12 ounces of water, and I'll explain the significance of that in a second. We got the infamous double wall glass ready to go. I have my personal bag of the Rule 1 R1. It's heavy too. R1 mass gainer in the chocolate flavor down here. Now, if I'm gonna follow these directions as is listed on the bag, it says mix about 2 heaping scoops of Rule 1 R1 mass gainer with approximately 20 to 24 ounces of water or milk in a shaker cup or a blender. Couple of things going on here. 24 ounces of water. My shaker here maxes out at 26 ounces. If I was to fill it up to 24 ounces, there ain't gonna be no room for 325 grams of powder in my MJ shaker. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the directions and I'm gonna cut them in half for the purposes of the taste and mixability, show you guys how it mixes, refresh my memory on how it tastes. I wanna show you guys this though, because you're used to seeing protein scoops. You ain't never seen a protein bucket like this before. That is the scoop that we're dealing with in the R1 mass gainer. I don't even know you can call that a scoop. I think it's a small bucket. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take 1 scoop and I'm gonna mix it in half the amount of water. So it would be 2 heaping scoops in 24 ounces. I'm gonna take 1 heaping scoop and I'm gonna mix it in 12 ounces is what we've got pre-prepared here. I will tell you guys straight off the top, I did a little bit of a weigh test on this. I'm not even gonna call this a scoop, I'm calling it a mini bucket. On this mini bucket, it's actually not a heaped scoop. It's gonna be a pretty much a rounded scoop. So it's not a level scoop, but there's a little bit of roundness happening in the scoop. A full serve is gonna be 2 of these. So a half serve is gonna be 1 of these rounded scoops. So if you're using a heap scoop, you're gonna get even more calories, even more carbs, proteins, and fats. You really wanna stick to a rounded scoop. So I'm gonna take 1 rounded scoop, and I'm gonna mix it in, hopefully I don't make a mess here. I'm gonna mix it in here. In this 12 ounces of water. There we go. Yeah, look, it's acceptable. We've spilt a little bit. Say a prayer for those lost gains, but I think we're good. 1 rounded scoop, 12 ounces of water. Let me mix this up. I'm gonna show you guys how it mixes, and then I'm gonna refresh my memory on how this chocolate fudge flavor tastes. I think that's enough. You guys can see in the shaker already, it mixes pretty damn well, but let me put it to the ultimate test. And I've just got, that was the powder I was trying to avoid all over the table and all over my shorts. It's good, we can make it work. Let me show you guys how it mixes. Oh. Like syrup, look at that. Look at that. No floaters, no sinkers. There were some, you guys would have seen, there was like some powder, which was the powder that was kind of left on the top there that kind of fell into the glass as I was pouring it. But no floaters, no sinkers. It mixes as directed if you follow the directions. So 2 scoops in 24 ounces, 1 scoop in 12 ounces of water, pretty much perfectly. And wait for it. It tastes so good, it's actually silly. It actually makes me giggle how good this mass gainer tastes. And let me put this in context for you guys. The reason why it makes me giggle is because high calorie, over 1,000 calorie per serve, mass gainer, weight gainer proteins, notoriously in the history of mass gainers, have been very difficult to drink because the texture's been off and the flavors have not been great. Rule 1 have completely wiped those 2 standards off the damn table. The texture is, it is literally, it just mixed with water, the texture is like a milkshake, and a delicious milkshake at that. And the flavors. So I've tried 3 of the 5 flavors. I've tried the chocolate, obviously. I've tried the vanilla, and I've tried the cookies and cream. The cookies and cream actually has real cookie pieces in there, which is really cool from a texture perspective. But the flavors are so good. They are so good. I don't think, as a matter of fact, I have not tried a mass gainer that is even playing the same game as the Rule 1 R1 mass gainer when it comes to the texture, the flavors, how easy it is to drink. It is unbelievable. It is unbelievable, which is why I say it's almost laughable. And it's laughable because we've put up with mass gainers that have horrible texture and horrible taste for decades. And it could have been better. We just needed Rule 1 to come in and raise the bar. So bravo, Rule 1. So far as taste and texture is concerned, absolutely exceptional. If I had to rank the flavors that I've tried so far, the chocolate is world class. The chocolate is the best. Cookies and cream I'll probably put in second, and then vanilla. I've yet to try the strawberries and cream and the chocolate peanut butter, but just based on those three flavors, I think that those two flavors would be exceptional as well. In terms of the effects, it's not rocket science, guys. It's gonna increase your daily calorie intake by a lot if you are taking it and putting it on top of what you're already consuming from a caloric perspective. Obviously, 2 scoops is gonna get you about 1,250 calories. 1 scoop is gonna get you about 600 calories. It's gonna increase your caloric intake. It's also gonna increase your protein intake because of the whey protein blend from concentrate, isolate, and hydrolysate in here as well. So from an effects perspective, if you're trying to build muscle and you're trying to get into a caloric surplus, this is a product, when combined with everything else that you should be doing from a dieting perspective and obviously a training perspective, it's gonna push you into that caloric surplus and give your body the actual building bricks that it needs to put on weight and to build muscle. So far as the side effects are concerned, it is going to contain a little bit of lactose for sure, because there is whey protein concentrate in there. So if you are slightly lactose intolerant, you may have an issue with that. There's no digestive enzymes in here to offset that or pre-break down. There's no lactase in there to pre-break down that lactose, so it's not going to cause you gastrointestinal upset. So just be wary of the lactose. The other thing to be wary of as well is it's a lot of calories in a very small volume. You know, if you are to mix up the 2 scoops as directed in 24 ounces of liquid, you've got 24 ounces of liquid and you're consuming 1,200 calories. So the gastric load is gonna be intense. If you were to consume 1,200 calories from in a non-liquid source from Whole Foods, is going to be a big plate of food, right? So you got to think your body needs to digest all of those calories. So it is going to be quite a significant gastric load. So if you're going to struggle with that, probably just start with, if you want to take 1 serve a day, maybe split it over 2. It's 2 half serves. So 1 scoop in between meal 2 and 3, and then maybe 1 scoop in between meal 4 and 5, just to reduce the gastric loading. Just something for you guys to keep in mind. But some of you will have no problems. Go straight to the 2 scoops, smash it down, add 1,200 calories to your daily caloric intake, and make all the gains. What does it compare to? You guys know usually in these comparisons, in these raw reviews, I like to pick a couple of products. But Rule 1 R1 Mass Gainer really, there's only one other product on the market that it really kind of goes head to head with, and that is Serious Mass from Optimum Nutrition. So that's what I'm going to pull it up against. Let's take a look at the pricing. Rule 1 R1 Mass Gainer, $30 cheaper in the Australian market for the same number of serves. So it's significantly better value for money. In terms of the price per serve, it's almost $2 cheaper per serve than Optimum Nutrition Serious Mass. So much better value for money. The calories and the macros between Serious Mass and Rule 1 R1 Mass Gainer are very similar. Serious Mass has a little bit more protein per serve and a little bit less fat, but the amount of calories is almost identical across the 2 products. The ingredients between the 2 do vary significantly. So Serious Mass uses only maltodextrin for the carbohydrates. It doesn't use anything else. All of the carbs are malto, whereas the R1 Mass Gainer uses maltodextrin. It uses the organic rice, and it uses the pea starch, the carb 10. So there's a blend going on in there. Serious Mass, the protein blend is different as well. So it uses a blend of whey protein concentrate, casein, and sweet dairy whey, which I'm not really too sure what whey that's yielding, but that's what they list on their product. So it's whey protein concentrate, casein, and sweet dairy whey, whereas the R1 Mass Gainer uses whey protein concentrate, whey protein isolate, and whey protein hydrolysate. Serious Serious Mass has 3 grams of creatine and 1 gram of glutamine per serve, whereas the R1 Mass Gainer just has 1 gram of creatine and no added glutamine per serve. And then Serious Mass contains an added vitamin and mineral blend in every serve, whereas the R1 Mass Gainer doesn't. So Serious Mass, you're getting a little bit more added bells and whistles on top, but you're paying a lot more for it as well. The texture across both is comparable. Both of them have 5 flavors. Serious Mass has a banana, which R1 Mass Gainer doesn't. R1 Mass Gainer has a cookies and cream, which Serious Mass doesn't. The other 4 flavors across both products, chocolate, chocolate peanut butter, strawberry, and vanilla, are available in both products. I would say though, and I mentioned this when I was saying how laughable the flavors are on this R1 Mass Gainer because they are so damn good. The flavors in R1 Mass Gainer, if you take the chocolate and you compare it to the Serious Mass chocolate, the vanilla, well, I haven't tried the strawberries, but the strawberry and cream, the strawberries across both products, the Real One Mass Gainer really kind of runs circles around it when it comes to that overall drinking experience. Who is it best for? Quite simply, if you're trying to create a caloric surplus and you want to be doing it with a Mass Gainer protein because you just can't get the food in, or your appetite's not there to be able to get the food in, or you just want to save a little bit of money because getting your calories from this, as we'll go through in a second, is exceptional value for money. That's really the sort of person who's going to be interested in this R1 Mass Gainer. Push yourself into caloric surplus, do it in a tasty, delicious, great value for money way. And if you don't have any issues with lactose or dairy or anything like that, the R1 Mass Gainer should be something that you definitely take a closer look at. Last but not least, price and value for money. The 16 serves, the big bag that's been taking up my frame, this whole raw review in the Australian marketplace. $109.95 for 16 serves. It comes out at $6.87 per serve. It is exceptional value for money in the marketplace for high calorie weight gainers alone, exceptional value for money. And then in the marketplace for calories, if you were trying to get that number of calories with those macros from whole food and you were trying to do it for under 10 bucks, you're gonna struggle, let alone under 7 bucks. It is, no matter how you cut it, it is an exceptionally great value for money way to get calories, to get protein, to help push you into caloric surplus and help you make those gains. Guys, hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to the MJ Fitness YouTube channel. Don't forget to turn your post notifications on your mobile, your cell phone, your desktop PC, your smart TV, and whatever other device you are watching this video on, so you don't miss a beat when it comes to all these new raw reviews and everything else we got happening here on the channel. Guys, that is MJ's raw review on the all new Real One R1 Mass Gainer High Calorie Protein. Until next time, I'm coming to you from mjfitness.au. Live fit. Boom, shakalaka. We're done. Woo, it's getting hot in here. It's getting hot in here.